Daniel. Hey, it's going to be a good week for you coming up, isn't it?
You need to start the timer thing.
I do have to start the
countdown.
timer. Yeah, okay. Here we go. Because we need to make sure that people know that we're going to be live shortly.
Yes.
That's how it works, right? Anyway,
Darrell,
next week. Yes.
we're going to talk about getting spammed, right? In the episode?
Totally, yeah. We're going to save that good stuff, though, for the show. Or we could have a chat, early on. It's just, how you want to take it.
I just want to say, I think I can say the people handled it differently, this week when we all got spammed with the message center notifications on our phones. And it was nice to see that it was like worldwide, people were replying, oh yeah, I got it too. But, I said, I fixed it because I deleted the app.
Well, that'll work.
Yeah, apparently.
Did you have anyone helpful tell you how to do it other ways?
Oh, sure, yeah. Oh, you can update. And one person even sent me a screenshot in French. And
wow.
while that's, helpful for those who speak French, I do not. I mean, a little bit. I understood enough to where I think they were telling me I could update the notification settings.
You know what happened for me, my experience of that, in a meeting with an important client, and my watch is going off because the notifications are synchronized with the phone. I just go, just a moment. Where were we?
Nice. Darrell, you didn't have to take it. You could turn the notifications off.
I should have put it in focus mode, of course. Silly me. That's all right. Hey, we're gonna have a good show today, guys and girls and people and everything, everyone who cares and watches this show. It is going to be a good show. Daniel, we're about 5 seconds away from going.
So I should tell a story, because that's what I do.
I like that part. That's when I like to get to cut you off, and we just... Good story. Stuffed it up again this time. Usually I'm pretty good, eh? I've been having a good run where I don't leave anything up and we just transition through to...
we're going to talk about something that was similar, because people on the video noticed that I had something overlaying my video.
Okay.
And one of our messages this week has talking about how, things can overlay on video, and they're going to fix that.
That's good.
Yes. Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode of the Message Center Show. This is episode 222. And we are here to help you plan for change.
Prevent or fix.
Stay informed.
And get super informed, right? Especially over and over and over.
And over and over and over. Those that are admins and have a phone with the admin Microsoft 365 admin app on it, you got notifications like crazy this past week on one update. It was fun.
Daniel, there's one method with change management and communication, which is tell people, then tell people again and tell people again, just to make sure they're aware that something is happening. I felt quite aware of this message, which we'll talk about later.
We are aware, most certainly. Before we jump in, make sure you hit those that are watching live. Hit the thumbs up, give us a like. In LinkedIn, do a clap, whatever. Make sure you let us know that you are watching. If you're listening to the audio podcast, make sure you give us a follow there so you can get all the messages and get our wonderful banter of the Message Center Show.
Yeah. So this week, Daniel, let's
sir.
bring up those messages.
Indeed.
Beginning with this one on creating
This is a
rules.
fun one.
Yeah.
This is actually a fun one. This is Quick Create and Rules for Libraries. Ooh. MC301708. We've had the ability to, and this is Power BI Quick Create, we've had the ability to use the Quick Create in Microsoft List for a while, where you can go and visualize a Microsoft List in Power BI, like create a report that's attached to that list. Well, now we're going to be able to do that in a library, as well as have the, there's actually multiple updates in this. There's going to be a quick chart part for document library. I'll talk about that in a second. And then notification rules coming to libraries, not just lists. So this is rolling out early January 2022, and expect the rollout to complete in late January. So I'm pretty sure we covered this, but when you go into the list, you can now go to the integrate Power BI and visualize this list, and it will show you it. Power BI does this wonderful magic and takes your columns in your list and says, what is this information? I'm going to give you a nice little report page of insights that Power BI gives you. Well, we're getting that in the library as well. So if you are using a document library and you have a lot of metadata attached to those documents, you're using a lot of columns for different dates and values, whatever you're using, you're going to be able to visualize the library and have Power BI give you some insights into your data right there in the library. Now, same rules apply for licensing. So if you are not licensed for a paid subscription to Power BI Pro, then you're going to be able to visualize it, but you won't be able to save the report. You won't be able to publish that report to the list, nor will you be able to view other people's published reports to that list or library, sorry. But if you have a Pro license, which is, you could have a standalone Power BI Pro license, or you can have a E5, a Microsoft 365 E5, which includes that, then you'll be able to create that report, visualize the library, and then publish it to the library so others can go who are appropriate licensed to see it. And the next part of this is the quick chart part, which has been around for a while, but we can only point to a list. So this is for a document library. We're going to be able to point it to a document library, again, that has data points in columns, and be able to use the quick chart web part to display it. I think quick chart is a underutilized tool. It started off a bit rough, I'll admit that, but because it's the web part actually started off as a web part that you manually entered data in. It couldn't even point to a list. So, but it has grown up and matured. So check that out for a library. And then notification rules. We're going to be able to create a rule like we can in List, but for libraries as well, for getting on. This is actually, for me, honestly, this of the three things in this announcement is the bigger one, because getting notifications about documents changing and all that, that's wonderful, and news, or it gives a magic update here, because it's just like this special, ooh, yay, we can finally get this, because we've been waiting for this, getting the notification rules. So hopefully you can see I'm excited, because I am. And
Or
we'll be
hear
getting
that
this
he's
hopefully
excited
next month.
if you're on the audio podcast. Yeah.
Indeed. Audio listeners, we love you.
Next message is this is what you're talking about with overlaps, wasn't it, Daniel?
Indeed.
Yes? Okay. Microsoft Teams, pin your own video in Teams meetings. MC 301680. You know how we can be in a meeting and we can pin anyone's video that's being displayed in the gallery, Daniel, and we can either do it for ourselves, so we can keep track of a particular speaker, or if we are the meeting organizer or a presenter, we can pin and spotlight it for everyone. This is more about the former than the latter, and being able to do that for your own video. So think of this, that at the moment, maybe your video, like, this is my experience anyway, maybe we've got a grid of 9 people in the meeting, and my video tends to overlay and cover the bottom right hand corner. So I can't really eyeball that person's video because I'm over 2/3 of it. So this is point number one. No more overlaying of the me video box. No, I just love this as throughout this message, it's me video. You know, I keep hearing this guy from Liverpool who says, my video's in the way and I want to see my video. Terrible accent, I'm sorry. But you get the point. No more overlaying my video box over the other participant. Secondly, you will be able to see your own video in a bigger scale and adjust the video form. I guess that will help if you need to see your video and it's alongside content. You'll have a better view of oneself when presenting an object or using sign language. This is good. But this last one, Daniel, is I want to hear your opinions on this one. I love the way you put this. You will enjoy a balanced view of me. Or, hang on, I will enjoy a balanced view of me and other participants. My video is larger and no longer transmits an impression of less importance. Shall we have a look at this too as you talk about your opinions about this part of the message?
Sure.
Come on.
So I will talk about number 4 here, and then I'll go back. I think
Okay.
we could talk about a little bit about these screenshots and weirdness.
All right. You want to go back to the message?
No. We could talk about number 4 was you're going to be able to pin yourself, so your video is not small in comparison to others. Now, these screenshots that they're showing in the message is sharing content as well, so it kind of is a different. I think it's a different animal because the way it displays a video. But like Darrell was talking about before, the grid and overlaying. I don't understand this whole. Why would you think you're less important just because your video is smaller? Don't you know that everyone else's video is smaller to themselves? I mean, it's the same experience for everybody. I don't really get that.
Well, as we pin it, so that's the view before we pin it.
Yeah.
Your video is over on the far right. And what we're seeing for those in the podcast is the gallery view along the top of the content that's being presented. And once you have pinned it, notice the difference. Describe this for the podcast listeners, Stan.
Yeah, so according to the screenshot, you've pinned yourself and your video is on the right of the gallery view on top of the content that's being shared. And now it's been moved to the left of the gallery. Okay. But also the screenshot, I think the proportions are either it's off or they really are doing this, but all the videos are now taller and they're taking up more space because you pinned yourself on there. I don't know. Darrell, maybe you could go, for those that can watch, go back and forth a little bit here to see how it's smaller. And then the second screenshot shows that maybe the images are, I don't know, about 30% more, maybe more than that. So that's kind of weird. That's what I was talking about, the oddness of these screenshots. It does. It pushes the content down. So I hope that's more of screenshot creation than it is reality.
Me too.
But anyway, so I can understand this whole, Darrell, what you're talking about, overlaying yourself over someone else, so you're not being able to see them as much. Yes, I agree with you. Being able to actually see people, that's the whole point of having video, right?
Yep.
So number 3, the sign language, or any other kind of, hey, I'm checking to make sure nobody's in my background. I mean, we're working from home, or even if we're in the office, making sure there's nobody picking their nose or something in my background, while I'm speaking, and everyone's sitting there cracking up because they can, things like that. Cool. I think this is a good idea, for sure.
Definitely.
This
rollout.
This is
rolling out. Yep.
Darrell, because
standard release early January, expect to complete early February. It's broken down into GCCs and DoDs as well. GCC late January will be complete end of February. GCC high will be starting mid-February, expected end of March. DoD will be end of February, starting end of February and finished late March.
Mid-March. Yep.
Mid-March. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Another message where they break out GCC and DoD, so that's great. Love
Good.
seeing that.
Informative.
Yep.
Our next message, Daniel, about this is the one that caused us the grief.
The one. Microsoft, I don't even know if I need to read this because you've already seen this message hundreds of times. Microsoft OneDrive and SharePoint Library drop-down menu, MC301473. Indeed, this is the message that I don't think it's the message fault. I think it was something wrong with the message center that was causing it. But this is indeed a different way of getting to your document library via OneDrive. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about when it's rolling out. Targeted release will roll out early January to mid-January. Standard release to mid-January to early February. Right now, when you go to OneDrive, you can select a site, SharePoint site, okay, a team site. And when you do, if that site has multiple libraries, document libraries in it, you get to pick which document library you want to view. Just like as Darrell is showing for the video podcast or video watchers here. But basically, it's just showing different libraries. And so when you say, I want to go to this library, you click on it and you go to it. Well, what is changing now is that they are not going to give you the choice. You are going to, when you click on the site, it's going to automatically take you to the default document library, documents. You're just going to land there. And to get to the other libraries in the site, there will be this fancy new drop down, which honestly is not very, it doesn't pop at me as being, hey, click here to get to the other libraries. It really doesn't. So this will require some training for your users. You click on it and then it'll show the other libraries that are in the site, and you'll be able to select one of them, the one you want to go to. So this has given us, it's not really an extra click. Well, it actually is an extra click because you have to click to make the drop down come and then select. So it's, I think it's giving a preference to, obviously, to the default library, and probably because in this new modern age, a lot of sites only have that default library. I'm finding not all of them, and maybe not even a majority, but a good number of them. So this is also going to be the way when you're viewing libraries in SharePoint. So not just from the OneDrive. In fact, the screenshot that Darrell is showing that's in the message is the SharePoint site. So when you click on documents, of course, in the navigation, in the current navigation on the left, it takes you to the library, and you'll have that drop down there to select from to other libraries. So that it's useful that way because I don't have to go to, I don't necessarily have to have it in the current navigation. I necessarily don't have to have it or go to, site contents, right? So
well, it means that we don't have to, if you see that there, documents, there's already a spec library that's in the navigation, but it's now going to also be part of that experience within the library.
That screenshot, though, is showing that current navigation there where, like you said, spec library is there. But that's because when the library is created, the person creating it said add it to navigation. But you don't necessarily have to, right? So it may not be there. So if you want to, again, I think you will need to educate your users on this one for sure. Darrell, let's get to quick mentions.
Yeah, we'll ramp that one up there too. So this is interesting for those of us who do work with high quality photos. That's HVC photos, or also known as high value controls. You wouldn't really know it from the acronym, but this message, Markup Inc. for editing HVC high value control pictures. So you wouldn't get that from the title, would you? But let's get into it. MC301676. We have the ability to ink up other photos and mark them up and draw circles and indicate various things and upload those photos and work on them from within OneDrive and SharePoint. But HVC photos have avoided or haven't been given this update up until now. So working with these photos that have got higher quality, we can now scribble over and draw on them and indicate various things. And the picture that's in the message to illustrate this is, I guess it's a plan for where we want to put a pot plant on a desk.
Nice.
Yep. But it's good to see this coming for HVC photos. And that is an option you can choose when you're creating photos or taking photos in some of our modern devices. So this is rolling out targeted release customers early December. So now-ish, and complete by late December. Your message, Daniel?
Important information about upcoming changes to Microsoft Power Apps trial license renewals, MC301226. So here's how trials work for Power Apps. If you don't have a license and what they say in the message, sufficient entitlement, if you don't have sufficient entitlement, and that is a term that is used in the Power Platform world of not having a license, really not having the ability to run it, then you are presented with, hey, do you want to start a trial? And you can do that. And when your trial runs out, guess what? You can just renew it to infinity. Like you just keep renewing it over and over and over again. Well, they're going to put a stop to that. So mid-January, you will only be able to have 3 trial periods. So your initial one and then renew it twice. This says no action on your part, but I think you need to have some action. If your users are using these trial periods over and over and over again, then you're going to have to educate them and really understand, do they need a license? Or should they not be doing what they're doing? So just need to figure that out. And there's PowerShell that you can use to see who has a trial license and be able to, contact them. All right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, we do have a callback, but we can't show you the message ID. And that is our gripe for today, our soapbox. This is something that some of us are starting to see in public preview. It is being able to add the Q&A app to a Teams meeting so that we can have some moderated control of questions and answers and not just throw it in the chat and struggle to read it as it streams up past us. But just a quick comment, it would be nice to see messages stay in the message center so we can go back and refer to them, not just for the show, but for those of us who want to go back and we've prepared people for it, and we can go back and refer to some of those details, change managers especially. So I can't show you the message, but what I can show you is the thing in action. Let's do that. And we're going to a demo meeting. I actually am preparing a meeting, right? So I've got a conversation going with a couple of people who are coming to that meeting. I'm using the new Microsoft Loop to organize some notes. I know, it's fun. But ahead of time, I'm also going to add a tab to the meeting so that we can have some questions and answers. So add the tab, find Q&A. It is currently at the top of that list because it does show optimized apps for meetings to begin with. So let's open up Q&A, add it to the meeting. And when we do have that added to the meeting, let's, I thought I could add it ahead of time. Yes, I can. Here it goes. Should arrive. Tickety tick, boom. It is a bit like having chat along the side, but it is a more controlled experience. We actually used it within live events. You've got options to say, yes, new attendees can ask new questions. They can respond to some of those questions. They have a threaded conversation with it. And this final choice, when you make it, it's set in stone for the event, right? So if you intend to have a moderated experience of this, that means that questions that are asked will be visible to the presenter and the presenters and organizer of the meeting, and they have to either publish it so that it's visible to everyone, or they can dismiss them, or they can reply to them in private. So it's more about having an environment where we as a team can choose what questions we want to ask and answer publicly, and then we can manage the other ones privately. So that's moderation. So when you add that to the meeting, then it will be the experience that they have using it. Only event organizers can use it. Well, of course, this meeting was organized by another person in the team. But yes, that's available now, and I do recommend using it, checking it out as a way of capturing those questions, especially in like team meetings of sort of 20, 30, 50 or more. It's far better than dropping a question in the chat, which is often still streaming past with all of people's comments and questions and side remarks and jokes. Daniel, do you see some use in this?
For sure. For sure. You know, when we are having meetings internally and want that experience where you, especially they're big meetings, maybe it's a town hall or whatever, being able to have that experience where we can publish those questions and do some moderation, I think is very helpful. But even if you're not doing moderation, having that in a situation where it's kind of that question answer format, I think is very helpful. Yep.
And it keeps it all together so that you've got chat and then you've got questions. And I will say this, it is powered by Yammer. Yeah, it doesn't actually feed off to a known Yammer community, so that would be nice if we could go back and have a place where we can continue the conversation around the questions and answers. Maybe that's a future thing, but it's nice to know that it's all about leveraging the platform and making the best use of what's available. But that is the show, sir.
It is. I have two things. One, if you would please go ahead and I told you to thumbs up this video on YouTube, but go ahead and in honor of our wonderful headbangers, those listening to rock and just really love, just go ahead and headbang that bell. And so you get a reminder for when we go live. And the other thing is I am in Las Vegas and I am at the Microsoft 365 Collaboration Conference. Woo! And I have stickers. So Yay. Come see me and you will get a sticker. Or I actually have something else too. Not or, and as long as they last, I have keychains with the logo.
You've got keychains for our show?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Did you say ma'am? Oh my.
No, man.
Oh,
I was
man.
like, yeah,
yes,
man.
I was going to say.
I was like, no, yeah, man.
Yeah.
So I've got keychains and stickers. Come see me.
And go to his session too. He's probably got something good to say.
Probably.
Yeah, probably. Okay.
You be the judge.
Well, I would like to be the judge, but...
No, not you. I'm talking about the people that...
Okay. Well, yeah, thank you for attending. Thank you for coming along. And until episode 223, see you again. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.